RISO KAGAKU Corporation celebrates the 70th anniversary of its foundation. Throughout that 70-year history, RISO has overcome one daunting challenge after another, continuously generating innovation and value. Let's take a look back now at 70 years of history at RISO. On September 2nd, 1924, a tiny life uttered its birth cries. Noboru, the firstborn son of the Hayamas, was born in Tokyo. Under the tutelage of his father, a soldier, Noboru Hayama was raised to be a sincere and diligent person. From his youngest days, Noboru displayed boundless curiosity, always full of new ideas. Following in his father's footsteps, Noboru graduated from the military academy and was appointed second lieutenant in the Japanese army. Immediately thereafter, the war ended. Cut off from a military career, Noboru set out to guide the next generation as a teacher and enrolled in Nihon University. At the same time, to pay his tuition and help with household expenses, Noboru began looking for a job. That was when he discovered mimeograph printing. Noboru worked diligently and faithfully, and good results soon followed. He wanted to do something that would be useful to future generations of children in their studies. Noboru decided that mimeograph printing was the perfect calling for him. The year after the war's end, he acquired a mimeograph printing press on his birthday and began working out of his home in Setagaya, Tokyo. People should not lose their ideals. We must always pursue our ideals to ensure the future. As he looked out on post-war Japan, Noboru decided that he would use the word ideal, RISO in Japanese, as the name of his company. The forerunner of RISO, RISO-sha, was born. The whole Hayama family pitched in, working earnestly. Little by little, Noboru Hayama grew his company. In 1948, he established a sales office in Nihonbashi, in Tokyo's business district. He changed the firm's name to RISO Insatsu-sha, meaning RISO Printing Company. The RISO Printing Company soon gained a reputation for accurate, high-quality printing. Work orders poured in from customers from private companies and research facilities to government offices. In 1952, RISO Printing Company imported electric typewriters and printing machines from the UK and began printing with typed characters instead of handwritten text. The principles of stencil printing are simple. Open perforations in the original master, and ink passes through the perforations to create the printed image on the paper. The key point is that the ink must be an emulsion ink. In those days, all good emulsion ink, free from blurring and bleeding, was imported. The ink was imported only in small quantities, and obtaining supplies was a constant headache. One winter day, Noboru Hayama was hurrying to pick up some ink on his scooter when he suffered a traffic accident, becoming seriously injured. As he lay hospitalized for 2 months, Noboru Hayama came to a decision. We're going to develop the ink ourselves. Noboru resolved to create fundamentally unique products. So began the great challenges of which RISO's history is made. In a corner of his home, Noboru began his ink research. Covered in oil from head to foot, Noboru worked tirelessly to develop ink that was just right for stencil printing, not too hard and not too soft. It was a challenge nobody in Japan had ever tackled, and the challenges were daunting. Finally, after a year and a half, Noboru succeeded in developing a unique ink. In 1954, RISO ink, Japan's first emulsion ink, was complete. With this breakthrough, Noboru's company was transformed from a printing company to a manufacturer of ink. he changed the company's name to RISO Science Laboratory Limited. Noboru Hayama's determination to continue developing new products was thus enshrined in the company's name. In 1955, Hayama built a small ink factory in Yoga City, Setagaya Ward, Tokyo. The newly launched RISO ink earned high praise from other printing firms. Even so, Noboru Hayama continued to work tirelessly to improve the quality of his inks. I want to keep testing to ensure high quality in any environment, including hot and cold temperatures and vibration and shock. One experiment Hayama came up with was to place RISO ink in the hull of a shipping vessel that traveled around the world. Would RISO ink maintain its quality on a journey from the torrid heat of the equator to the bitter cold of the Arctic? It was an experiment with no precedent in history. After a 2-year journey, the shipping vessel returned to Yokohama Harbor. With great trepidation, the can was opened. The RISO ink was normal. Its quality was the same as when it had left port 2 years earlier. In that moment, the technological accomplishment of RISO was proven for all to see. In 1963, the company changed its name to the name it is known by today, RISO KAGAKU Corporation. The company's drive to create fundamentally unique products kicked into a higher gear. Japan's era of rapid economic growth was now underway. In connection with the Tokyo Olympics, expressways and high-speed train lines opened across the country. It was a time when speed was in demand in all things, and the printing world was no exception. Stencil printing consists of 2 processes. The first is master making, in which the masters used in printing are fabricated. The second is printing, in which the fabricated masters are used to print. For a long time, mimeograph stencils were made from waxed paper, and letters were written by stylists. In the 1960s, stencils were made with Japanese typewriters in Japan. However, the principle remained the same, and it took a great deal of time to produce one master. At schools and offices alike, master making was an arduous and time-consuming task. Surely there must be some way of dramatically shortening the time needed for master making. Then Noboru recalled a memory from his childhood. That's it! A magnifying glass! We can cut holes by focusing light to generate heat. Making masters by using light to generate heat. It was a tremendous discovery. Nobody else had thought of it. RISO's challenge had begun once more to constantly create fundamentally unique products. After several trials and error, the company created RISO Fax and RISO Master. RISO attracted numerous media outlets for the announcement. The next day, the newspaper headlines read, "Master-making device as if by magic," and "A system without precedent in the world." These words were no exaggeration. Master-making tasks that took at least 10 minutes could now, with RISO Fax, be completed in just 5 seconds. Word of the breakthrough shot around the world in a heartbeat. A leading producer of office equipment headquartered in the United States came with an offer to use RISO Master for their master-making devices. Required production soared to 10 million sheets a month, a figure beyond its wildest dreams.
So let's work together to make it a success.
Noboru Hayama immediately set up a facility for a massive increase in RISO Master production. With the just completed No. 2 plant of Kasumigauda Works producing at full capacity, RISO worked on construction of the No. 3 plant. In a flash, construction of the No. 4 plant was underway. To make the move to large volume production, RISO rapidly expanded its production capacity. Everything was ready to go. Then one day, a call came in from the partner in the United States, with whom RISO had signed a contract in less than a year. The order was cancelled. Having just completed the construction of its new plants, RISO was deep in debt. Almost half of its 300-strong workforce left the company. Noboru Hayama fell into the abyss. Standing in his empty plant, he remembered his words from long ago. People should not lose their ideals. We must always pursue our ideals to ensure the future. Noboru Hayama flew into action. First, he threw away his title of president. He joined the front lines as sales division manager, going on the road to sell RISO Fax and RISO Master. Employees were inspired by his tireless efforts. At the same time, he gathered the company's engineers and declared, "There is only one way we can break through this crisis: development of new products." Among the proposals Noboru received from the engineers was the Xenon Fax Plan. The model for this next innovation, after the magnifying glass, was the stroboscopic camera flash. The idea this time was to use this flash as the heat source for the master-making process. This too was a revolutionary idea, found nowhere else in the world. An unprecedented audiovisual equipment was created. With the company's business in crisis, the engineers worked on a very small budget to complete the new product in just 1 year. In 1972, RISO launched audio-visual equipment, the Trap-in-Up OHP film printer, and the overhead projector. These two revolutionary products would transform the way of existing education and office meetings. But Noboru Hayama wasn't satisfied. We've just begun to discover the possibilities in stencil printing. At the time, stencil printing had several drawbacks. Hands would get dirty, ink would splash, and letters get blurred. To attain the ultimate in stencil printing, not only master-making, but printing technology had to be innovated. We're going to start developing printers too. It was a tough challenge. Printing without getting one's hands dirty would require practical implementation of a fully automated inking system, in which ink is supplied automatically. RISO would also have to develop technology to control printing by computer. A mountain of issues stood in RISO's path, requiring a long development phase and heavy research expenses. Just when Noboru thought he'd have to put the project on hold, another prototype was brought by the R&D. RISO's developers had applied stroboscopic flash master making, the technology created for the Trap-in-Up, to devise a compact printer that anyone could use easily. The product was named Print GOCCO. The name, which means users could now play amateur printers at home, was dreamed up by Noboru Hayama himself. Soon after its launch in 1977, Print GOCCO experienced explosive sales. New Year greeting cards created using Print GOCCO became a seasonal tradition of Japan's year-end holidays. The success of Print GOCCO dramatically heightened recognition of RISO's name. At last, the company had the funds to develop its stencil printer. RISO's master-making technology was a success, but the development of printing technology would have to start from scratch. Stormy waters lay ahead. The goal was to create an automated, computer-controlled stencil printing machine that could be operated easily while keeping one's hands clean. After repeated trial and error, a prototype was at last completed. In those days, the durability of an office printer was said to be 1 million pages. Over and over, RISO engineers carried out million-page printing tests. 3 years later, the company launched a revolutionary master-making device and printer with confidence. The Risograph FX7200 and AP7200. The Risograph was the first stencil printing system to incorporate a light-sensing microcomputer. Based on the core principles of stencil printing, the Risograph brought together a suite of completely new systems, including technology for automatic ink supply, high-speed paper feeding, and computerized controls. One newspaper called it a copy machine, but like a printing press. The Risograph, which enabled high-volume printing with ease, gained a high reputation in the field, from schools to government and private offices. The machine was soon installed throughout Japan. RISO had come a long way, from development of inks, master-making devices and masters, to the development of a printing machine. Now, once again, the company was embarked on a fresh journey as a comprehensive manufacturer of stencil printing equipment. In 1982, RISO exhibited the Risograph at Hannover Messe, one of the world's largest general trade fairs for the printing industry. In 1984, the product was showcased at NOMDA, a major office equipment fair in the United States. The product was highly praised. In 1986, RISO established its first overseas sales subsidiary, RISO Incorporated, in Massachusetts, USA. Later, RISO expanded its business to Europe, Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. Today, RISO's digital duplicator is used in over 180 countries and regions across the globe, capturing the world's top market share in digital duplicators. Developments by RISO would see even further advances: digitization and connection to word processors or PCs. In 1995, Japan was hit by the Great Hanshin Awaji earthquake. When disaster struck, the most vital commodity of all was information. Here, the Risograph played a vital role. For days on end, major newspapers nationwide used the Risograph to issue extras with key updates. In 1999, RISO started manufacturing in a plant in Zhuhai, Guangdong Province in China, which was the first overseas production site. The same year, Akira Hayama assumed the position of president and representative director. Noboru Hayama, who had revolutionized digital duplicators, handed over the baton to his son. The company's next target was clear: the development of high-speed color printers. The 1990s were the era of color printing, but printing costs were high, and devices were not easy to use. RISO strove to make printing in color much more affordable and develop an original printer using RISO's technology to create fundamentally unique products. In a joint venture with Olympus Corporation, RISO launched a high-speed color inkjet printer, the RISO HC5000. On its first day of sales, the HC5000 set a world record speed of 105 pages per minute. From that day forward, RISO's inkjet printer has continued to post new world record speeds and remains the world's fastest. In addition to the speed, RISO's high-speed full-color inkjet printer had revolutionary economic performance on a par with black and white printers. In 2013, RISO opened the RISO Research and Design Center in Tsukuba, Ibaraki Prefecture. With an eye on the future, it is an organization for creating fundamentally unique products. Through its accumulated technology in a wide range of fields, from electronics, machinery, and chemistry to software, RISO aims to deliver compelling products that amaze and delight customers everywhere. In 2015, RISO France, the sales subsidiary of RISO in France, was chosen as an official partner at the 21st Conference of Parties in the UN Framework on Climate Change in Paris. RISO's high-speed full-color inkjet printer, the Calm Color series, earned high praise for its energy efficiency and high productivity. Over the 12 days at the conference, RISO provided some 3 million copies, as well as maintenance and support. Creating fundamentally unique products. Backed by 70 years of proud history, RISO will continue to predict the trends of the future, taking up the challenge of creating innovative products and services for customers.